What's up, Leafs Nation? Welcome back to another game preview. I'm Zack Phillips, and today we're going to be taking a look at game number 47 in the Toronto Maple Leafs regular season as they take on the Montreal Canadiens, and not just the Montreal Canadiens, but the red-hot Montreal Canadiens, who are coming into this game here tonight on a roll looking to take down your Toronto Maple Leafs. So we'll dig into the line matchups and the line combinations that we got for the Leafs. We'll dig into the starting goaltenders, and we'll give out a best bet here on today's pregame show. All a presentation of Bet365, proud partner in the Leafs Nation pregame and the Leafs Nation After Dark. Open an account with Bet365 today and bet on a huge range of markets. Use code NATION, NATION, all caps, code NATION, NATION. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Let's go line combinations first and foremost here to start today, because it'll also determine how we're going to be looking at things for our best bet. So starting with the Maple Leafs forward unit, and we're going to take a look over at Daily Faceoff. Our first line remains together. Matthew Knies, Austin Matthews, and Mitch Marner, which I think makes the most sense here for tonight's game and how they played after the game the other night against the New Jersey Devils. Honestly, from a Leafs perspective and how the team played as a whole, it was okay, but at least the effort was there, which was something that was lacking in, I think, at least even the previous 3 to 4 games, where it just felt like they kind of weren't engaged in the game. That was a step in the right direction. Execution-wise, they were a little bit off, a little bit behind, but this line, and specifically Austin Matthews, was a driver. Matthew Knies getting himself to the right spots, getting to the front of the net, taking beatings, taking hits to make a play, winning corner battles. Those are all positive things that you want to see, especially from a complementary piece to your two big guys in Matthews and Marner on that first line. Down to your second line, what we've got here, Bobby McMann, Max Domi, and William Nylander. Now, obviously, long-term, this is not ideal, but if you were to take the third line and what you had before, Bobby McMann, Max Domi, and Nick Robertson, and you swap Nick Robertson for William Nylander, it's obviously an upgrade to the line, and that's kind of what we got, and that's how I'm choosing to look at this second line here tonight. Yeah, you're going to be going up against tougher matchups than what that third line would have previously been going up against, but the thing that I'm not stressed about when I look at those guys is, Bobby McMann has played at different times this year on the second line, on the first line. He's gone up against top six matchups from other teams, other groups. Like, it's not like he's not faced this pressure. It's not like he's proven he can't hang with the big boys or play against the big boys from the other teams. Bobby has very much shown that he is capable of kind of withstanding that pressure, going out there and executing at a higher level in more minutes and more pressure. Max Domi is a guy who has also shown that, more specifically with Austin Matthews, but you kind of put him in a similar role there with William Nylander, where it's like, hey, dude, you're the playmaker. We saw it in the last game against New Jersey on the goal William Nylander scored, where he's coming down the slot. Domi steals it off the defenseman, makes a nice move past him, drives down to the corner, hits William Nylander in the slot as he's coming into the zone. He buries that thing one-timer top corner. It's a nice play by Max Domi, and it's kind of the epitome of what you want him to be on that line. You're a guy who brings energy, who steals pucks, who wins battles, and makes plays, because William Nylander is the guy who scores, and William Nylander obviously on the other side. An opportunity for him to continue what he built off of last game. 2 goals, one being the overtime winner, and an assist in that game where he had just come off of saying, it's not that big of a deal. It's 3 games. Good teams find their way out of it. And those are some rockstar comments by William Nylander that then get followed up by a rockstar performance. Down to your third line for tonight, Max Pacioretty, Pontus Holmberg, and Nick Robertson. Pacioretty, Holmberg, and Robertson is interesting. These are basically 3 guys that you're looking at from a Berube standpoint and from his view and saying, all 3 have to be better. All 3 have to show me more. Pacioretty, in and out. Holmberg, in and out. Robertson, in and out. Not one point this season have we looked at all 3 guys and said, you know what? Their game has been there, and it's been there on a consistent basis. It's there every single night. You need some consistency out of these guys a little bit more to be a bit more reliable. And you probably look at them and take this, that you think they're going to take this as a challenge where it's like, we haven't been that good. Any of us so far this season for an extended period of time. Let's find our games here tonight, and let's find it together. Let's lean on each other to be better and to elevate our line. Down to your fourth line for what you got here tonight, Lorentz, Kampf, and Reeves. Reeves comes into this one. Obviously, we saw Berube kind of bringing up the fact that it's a game against Montreal. It's a higher intensity rivalry game. Probably going to have Arbor Jackeye over on the other side looking to go and pick some fights with somebody. This could be a prime opportunity for Ryan Reeves to step up here, have his first fight of the season against a guy who will be hunting for one. If it's not him, maybe it's Michael Pezzetta if he gets in the lineup for the Habs on the other side there as well. But plenty of opportunity between Lorentz and Kampf there on the other side on that line. Lorentz, energy guy. David Kampf, just be defensive. That's all we're going to ask of you here tonight. Those are your forward lines for the Maple Leafs ahead of the game against the Montreal Canadiens here tonight. And as we're looking at a big matchup, we're also looking at a big matchup for the Maple Leafs down in Nashville, March 20th to 23rd. And it's a big matchup, not necessarily because of the game, but because of who will be in attendance. And that will be the Nation Network team, specifically the Leafs Nation Network team. Join myself, Nick Alberga, Jay Rosehill, Carter Hutton, producer Vic, all down in Nashville, March 20th to 23rd. For an unbelievable experience. This is not an ordinary vacation. It's a nation vacation. You can head over to nationgear.ca to find out more about the wine tour, the live podcasts, heading to the game together, accommodations, all of that and more. Make sure to check that out over at nationgear.ca. Let's take a look at the defense for what we've got for this Maple Leafs team here tonight as well. I'm not really at this point changing opinions on where some of these guys are, so it's going to be more of the same, especially with these defensive pairings. But looking at first unit, we got Morgan Rielly and Philippe Myers. Obviously, Myers has been a guy who's impressed me more lately. Jake McCabe, Chris Tanev, maybe the best defensive pairing in hockey right now. And then you've got Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Connor Timmins down in that third pairing together. I think Ekman-Larsson provides some stabilization to Connor Timmins, and ultimately it's something we didn't really talk about in the last post-game show, but want to kind of bring up here today as we go to tee this one up. Timmins did not have a good game the other night. Like every time the puck touched his stick, it looked like he was handling a grenade and playing hot potato out there. You need a lot better from him here tonight, especially in a game where you're probably going to face a lot of pressure from this Habs team. You're playing with a guy like OEL. Calm things down. He is out there to help you. Don't worry. It's not all on you. You're going to be okay. He needs to be much better here tonight, though. So those are your defensive pairings. Down to your power play for tonight, running it back from the same unit that went 1 for 2 the other night, and that would be Matthew Knies, William Nylander, Mitch Marner, Morgan Rielly, and Austin Matthews. So those are your forwards, defense, and power play. Second unit there, kind of how we've seen it over the last little while, 2 defense, and then you're basically going with your third line on the second unit, except it's Bobby McMahon in for Max Pacioretty. As for our starting goaltenders here in this game tonight, we're going to go down to, on the daily face-off, the goalie matchups, and we're taking a look at the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Montreal Canadiens here tonight. I mean, Joseph Woll likely to go. Sam Montembeault confirmed for the Habs. This is one for me where, again, looking for guys to get back on the right track. I mean, he got a win the other night against the Devils, but Joseph Woll has to elevate his play here as well. He's kind of let in some of the soft ones, some of the stinkers here over the last week or so, where it's like, hey, that's the one who feels like we need to have. He's getting a little bit swimmy here at times. Let's tighten things up. Let's tidy the game up here tonight against Montreal. Let's not let in the soft ones, and we'll be back in a place of comfort, I guess, as a Leafs fans here watching this goaltender go head-to-head with Sam Montembeault tonight. So interesting for Joseph Woll as he prepares to go for yet another start here. Probably the most starts he's faced in his career in a consecutive period of time, but will be interesting to monitor nonetheless. Let's now get to our best bet segment presented by Bet365. Proud partner of Leafs Nation pregame and Leafs Nation After Dark. Open an account with Bet365 today and bet on a huge range of markets. Use code NATION, N-A-T-I-O-N, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. All right, we're going to go over to Bet365 here for tonight's best bet segment, and As always, we're going to go to the player props, and we're going to look to continue off of the win that we got the other night with William Nylander. Yeah, we bet on him anytime goal. He ended up getting 2 for us there. I looked and thought maybe tonight would be a night for William Nylander, and honestly, it might be one, and it might be something I end up betting here tonight myself, but that's not the direction we're going for tonight's best bet. Instead, as I teased earlier when we're talking about lines and who is playing with who and what roles they could be playing, I kind of found myself drawn to another player on this Leafs team, and that would be Bobby McMann, who's getting himself in a second-line left wing position and being priced at plus 400 to score a goal here tonight against the Habs. We're going to go a half unit on this, $50 to pay 200. Now, look, there's a slight edge on this one just mathematically, but just even more so on this, I look at Bobby McMann, the role he plays, how he plays his game, a game against Montreal, a rivalry night. It's going to be intense. It's going to be more important. I feel like Bobby McMann could find himself stepping up and really being an impactful player here tonight against Montreal. So $50 profits you $200 here tonight on Bobby McMann anytime goal at plus 400. That is your best bet. Let's look to get this one in the win column as we are down 2.93 units on the season. That's all for me for today's pregame show. If you did enjoy this one, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe here to the channel, turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. I will be back following tonight's Leafs game to help break down everything, taking calls from the chat, answering questions, reading your super chats, and we're going to be joined by a very special guest here tonight, Nick Alberga, to help break down and react to tonight's Leafs-Habs game. Look forward to seeing everyone for another edition of Leafs Nation After Dark following tonight's game. Until then, keep believing. For more content just like this, including game previews, post-game live shows, Leafs Morning Take Monday through Friday with Nick Alberga and Jay Rosehill with special guests, as well as instant reaction videos, make sure to be subscribed here to the Leafs Nation YouTube channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss anything, and drop a like.